emerged today that the spokesperson for Eskom, Sikonathi Mantshantsha, is being sued by the former acting CEO of Eskom, Matshela Koko, for comments he made about Koko when Mantshantsha was working as a journalist. Mantshantsha was one of those journalists who uncovered the allegations of corruption against Koko. Koko eventually had to testify at the Zondo Commission about the allegations that he was involved in corruption at Eskom. We await the findings of the Zondo Commission. Well, Sikonathi Mantshantsha joins us now. Sikonathi, good afternoon to you. Why are you being sued by Matshela Koko? What's he accusing you of doing?
Good afternoon, Stephen and Newzroom Afrika. Mr. Koko is suing me. I actually received the summons in November 2020, where he is claiming 600,000 rands via a motion application for defamation. This is as a result of, as you have just pointed out, of work I did writing for the Financial Mail and indeed Business Day, all the way up to June 2019. What he has done, Stephen, specifically is avoid the published work in the newspapers because obviously, for obvious reasons, is avoid that, but sued me for commentary around that when I responded to a tweet, someone asking me, why is this man still not in jail, given what you have written? And my response was, he's not in jail purely because nobody is interested in arresting, prosecuting, and indeed finding him guilty. Because if the law enforcement agencies were interested in doing that job, he would long have been in jail, having been found guilty of corruption, of fraud, and indeed possibly of treason. That is the reason I am being sued, amongst others.
So just to be clear, you had published a whole series of facts about him. It was your reporting at the time. You led some of the reporting, very important reporting at the time, I think the record suggests. He didn't go for any of that. So he didn't go to the press ombudsman. He didn't go to your employer at the time, which was Times Media then, Arena Holdings now. He didn't go to any of that. So he didn't lay any claims. He hasn't made a claim against any of the facts that you reported. It's just based on the tweets, based on your reporting.
Absolutely, Stephen. He has, even then, he avoided responding when approached for comment before any of the articles were published over a period of 4 years. And it took him 2 years after I had left the Financial Mail and I had left Daily Maverick for him to actually sue me in my personal capacity, not for any of the articles. The facts there stand totally unchallenged by himself. And he has gone about, as I call it in my column today, a devilish way where he had to try and cut me off funding for the defense of the case. Because the biggest thing, Stephen, about the law in South Africa definitely is that it is very expensive to defend a case. Whether or not you are innocent is immaterial, but you do need a war chest to be able to defend any kind of case. And he devised a scheme to find a way to cut me off totally because if he had challenged the newspapers, Arena or Times Media would have been forced to indeed stamp up and defend the credibility of the work that was carried in their newspapers and indeed of their journalists. But he found a way to go for me personally. You are probably old enough to remember this, that we have had similar instances in the past in South Africa, particularly where concerning a financial journalist who had to be treated in this exact particular manner all the way back in 2008. The late Dion Basson, may his soul rest in peace, was sued by Shamex exactly on the same circumstances, and the publication that had carried his work remained unchallenged, but he was sued in his personal capacity, which did unfortunately lead to his death back then. His family definitely did attribute the stress and all his passing to the lawsuit that had run for years until that particular point.
There's also history here. I mean, if I remember correctly, Matshela Koko tried to sue a 72-year-old nursery school principal who also made comments about him on Twitter. And I think that person tried to apologize. Koko refused to accept the apology, launched a lawsuit. Didn't he lose that?
The interesting thing, Stephen, that was Mrs. Barbara Tenton, And the High Court in Johannesburg ruled in August, about 2 months ago, and dismissed Matshela Koko's application with costs. And indeed, so the interesting thing about that is Mrs. Tenton had actually commented on exactly my work. I was responding to the work I had written and Matshela Koko's behavior on the public platform called Free. So he took her on, and she did try to apologize and deleted her Twitter account and tried to settle, but he was not satisfied with her apology and went all the way to court. And the courts dismissed his application with costs. So by then he had already issued the summons in my case.
So, I mean, it would seem maybe perhaps this is part of a campaign. I mean, the other question that comes to mind is that Matshela Koko had to testify at the Zondo Commission. The Zondo Commission findings could be absolutely vital to your case.
He has made, by my calculations, a record 11 times appearance at the Zondo Commission. I'm not aware of any other witness who has had so much to tell the Commission. So, indeed, the Zondo Commission's findings will be crucial in his case. But, of course, you know that they can be taken on review and a lot will happen. But my case with Mr. Koko will hopefully, by the time Advocate Zondo, Judge Zondo releases his result, the case will probably have gone through the system. We have filed and we are just waiting for the court date. What should be particularly crucial for the people of South Africa is whether we do have any law enforcement agencies that are prepared and are willing to do their job in South Africa. That for me is the most interesting thing, and that was the point that I raised when I said if the law enforcement agencies were doing their job as well as they should have, Mr. Koko would have been arrested a long time ago, tried and found guilty of corruption. And you will know, I'm speaking at this particular point, Stephen, I must state that to the viewers. This is in my personal capacity. I have had to do this all on my own, and indeed with Arena Holdings helping me with part of the costs. Now I have had to appeal to the people of South Africa for assistance in order to meet R1 million of legal, current and expected legal costs, in addition to what Arena has already settled with the lawyers. I must also tell you at this very point, we launched the campaign this morning. I'm pleased to announce that at this particular point, we have raised more than 350,000 rands, and I repeat again, the target is 1 million rand, to be able to at least on an equal footing go to court and defend the case. And the people of South Africa have really risen up and came to my aid, because, Stephen, it's only because the people are tired of corruption. The people are tired of everything that is happening with the state, and have contributed and want to give me a fair chance to fight this piece of arrogance that the court case is.
Sikonathi Mantshantsha, I appreciate the time. Thank you very much indeed. Just to reiterate, Sikonathi Mantshantsha speaking in his personal capacity there about events which occurred before he became the Eskom spokesperson. It's a very interesting case. We'll keep a very close eye on that. You've already seen part of what Matshela Koko has said about that on Twitter during that conversation.